let's talk about polygamy.
That was such an intro.
We're cutting straight to the chase. We don't want to waste people's time out here, man.
And this is actually a conversation, I think that, like, if we've had it, we haven't, because we talk about a lot of things. I don't think we've talked about it in a long time, or, like, we haven't gone into too much depth with it together. So this could be completely surprising to both of us. But I think that there's many levels to what we're going to talk about, as far as, like, there's polygamy, there's polyamory, and then there's swinging.
So there's levels of shit. So this is basically my way of trying to introduce a third part.
I was like, where's the second one?
Where's remap number 2?
He can't even keep the first one straight.
That's exactly why we're bringing in another one. We don't need her straight. You know what I'm saying?
So basically, polygamy is when you are married to multiple people. And for me, in that situation, I think I could see it being a positive. Like, I'm trying to think of that one TV show where there's Cody and he's got the 4 wives and Mary was the first one and Robin was the last one. Like, I liked watching that at first, and then it just became obvious that those are the kind of people that should not be in that kind of relationship. Like, they're all jealous of each other, and it's all like me and my kids, and when do I get time? And he's just, like, riding on the coattails of all these women, like, using their money. And he's in it for, I feel like, the wrong reason. So I stopped watching years ago. I think that for some people, the premise is good. Like, we have a bunch of kids, so we have more people to help watch the kids. Like, then we can all go out and make money, and we have a built-in babysitter and somebody watching our kids, so that our kids don't have to go to the daycare and stuff.
I think there definitely have to be, like, a really big level of trust between you and your wives, I guess.
Well, I think that, like, you go into it with understanding that they're okay with it. Like, what are you trusting? I'm trusting that you are having another relationship with that other woman that lives with us. Like, because people assume it's like, oh, we're in another relationship, and so there's another female sleeping in the same bed. Generally, that's not, from my understanding, how it works. Like, they're oftentimes in separate houses and that
really?
kind of
I didn't
thing,
know
too.
that. Okay. Yeah, I think it's hard because I already got trust problems. Like, so I think it's already hard enough for me to completely just put faith into one person, let alone, like, spreading that to, like, 2, 3, 4 other human beings where you're, like, putting yourself in the most vulnerable situation with that many other people. I don't know, man.
See, I think it can work because, like, one of my biggest stressors in life is that I'm at work and my kids get sick. Who's going to leave work to go pick them up? And then who's going to be home from work because we got a bunch of kids. So then I don't have that much sick time to stay home. So then we've got somebody to stay home with them. And if I'm not feeling like doing something today and you want to go out with her. But for me personally, it's easy to say. I think it's harder to do.
I think it would work if you had, like, 3 or 4, like, ride or dies. You know? Like, I know you hate that word. But, like, really, like, I think it could work if, like, you had 3 or 4, like, partners that were, like, as deeply invested as, like, you were or, like, you and that other person were. But I think that's hella hard to find. And I think that you'd be hard pressed. You're right. Like, I think it would just take, like, the perfect storm of just...
Like, it's not for us.
Nah, I don't think
like,
it's
we've
for
talked
us.
about that kind of stuff before, and I think it can work for some people, but for us, it's just like, he's my person.
I don't know if it works with... It'd be hard with kids, I think.
I think that the kids are the part that make it sound the more doable.
No, I think that's with having that situation with kids definitely makes it quote-unquote, like, easier, but I think, like, the reality of it would be, like, when kids are involved, I think that situation becomes a lot more complex too.
Well, it's more likely that one of the relationships is going to break up. So then, like, who gets the kids? And they've then got this, like, let's say you had 2 of us. There was me and this other girl here, and you had kids with both of us. Well, one a problem could be, are you spending more time with her kids,
Yeah.
more money with her kids? And 2 would be, if she leaves, then I don't get access to those kids, and I might have been around those kids for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do then?
It makes for a super complex family unit, you know? And I think that's hard, man, because when, like, we know how much support you need when it comes to, like, having kids and stuff, right? Where, like, you're not going to be doing it by yourself. Like, you need a network of good people around you. But at the same token, we also know that, like, you don't just want anybody around your kids either. Like, you want to make sure that if you are in a situation when you're in a polygamous relationship like that, that, like, they're in, you know, like, where they're just, this is, I think that'd be the hardest part for me, man. It's just like, I don't know if it's possible to balance, like, that dedicated of a relationship, like, romantically, I guess, between that many people. Like, I don't know.
And I think, like, with me and you, like, we mesh pretty well together, and we go well just in general. So I don't know if I could find that with somebody else at this, especially at the same time.
Yeah.
Because
balancing
anytime
both,
you're bringing in somebody else, like,
you change the dynamic.
You change the dynamic, and you kind of change your own personality. Like, we're not the same.
Yeah, you're not the same person else. Around everybody that you're around. That's 100% true.
So if we bring in somebody else, that could change the dynamic and
make it, like, not as good.
Right. If there's another female here, I'm gonna be like, oh, does he like this better with her? And like, if she's at home with my kids all the time, then my kids are gonna go to her more. Yeah. Because that's who's there. And here I am supporting your ass while you're at home
hanging out with them all day, and then they like you more, and then you feel like, oh, so I'm like the money machine, like, type of thing. Where absolutely, man, it just seems so complicated, you know, like.
But the support for the kids, like, because I'm a big believer in the more people loving your kids, the better. Like, I make jokes and, like, I air quotes jokes about something bad happening to my ex-husband and stuff. But if he was actually a supportive, caring person to our son, I would be all about him having that kind of a relationship with him, and I would be fine with it. The more people that love the kids, the better. You can't have too many people caring. Like, when he got a girlfriend, I was super excited. Because I was like, now there's somebody else, like, they take care of our son, and that's going to be a positive person out of him. Sucks that that's not the situation that happens. Yeah. But it was my hope. Like, I'm not one to be, if me and Calvin aren't together and he gets somebody else, I just hope, I know he would get somebody that was a positive person. I wouldn't be mad. Like, get somebody that's gonna love our kids.
That doesn't suck and everything, right? And that's it, man. Like, I think it's scary the more people that you introduce into, like, that network of, like, close, like, your children, especially. Like, I don't want just anybody around my kids. You know, I really super don't. Like,
and he definitely doesn't want me to date somebody because my track record sucks. So he knows that person would suck.
Like, I'm paranoid about that, man. Like, that's important, dude. Like, and just people do just fucked stuff to kids, man. Like, it's, and sometimes you don't find out until so much later. And, like, I don't know how the hell I would react if, like, something happened. Like, you never know what can happen, right? But, like, it's scary introducing new people, and, like, I know you can't just keep them insulated in a vacuum, like, under your wing, like, I'm always watching you. Like, I don't want to do that. That's not healthy. But at the same time, like, you just don't want any Tom, Dick, or Harry to be coming in like, oh yeah, you're our babysitter, watch my kids for a couple days, I'm going out. Hell no. Like, that's
I can literally count on my hand how many people have watched my kids.
For me personally, that's the preference. But kind of going back on, like, the
topic,
because I think it all relates. Like, if we're talking about it from the family aspect, that's sketchy. I think it's probably easier when it's just, like, you and your other partners. But even then,
well, I think too, a big part for us would be our families, because they wouldn't accept this. They would not be okay with this. So it would be keeping a whole section of your whole life separate.
Yeah, you'd be kind of boxing out your family, which is cool if you want this bad enough, like if this is how you want to live your life and this is the choice that you make and this is what's going to make you happy, then do what you got to do. But yeah, I get you. I know for me, like my family relationships are significant and that would definitely make those awkward. Like that would, like I couldn't imagine going to like grandma's house and like, these are my 3 wives, grandma, can you make us all
His
dinner?
grandma would box his ears so hard.
Just
I don't think she'd talk to him again.
I don't. I truly don't know how she would react, but it wouldn't be well. I think I could probably say that pretty safely that she probably wouldn't be super excited. I mean, I don't know if I would be super excited. I think that like the stereotypical male dream is like, oh man, 3 ways, and just like all the dumb, like you look at like the sexual parts where you're just like, oh, that would be fun, but then reality hits where you're like, that ain't life though. Like it's, even if that does happen, even if that does happen, like you have, okay, so what are you doing for the rest of the 23 and a half hours?
And 55 minutes.
You say for the rest of the 23 hours and 55 minutes. Like, that's people, I think, go into this sometimes, like, thinking with their wiener or, like, whatever parts they got and not thinking about, like, this on a practical level.
Well, for some people, it's a control thing and power thing. Because now, like, because generally it's not the females that are allowed to have other spouses. It's all the men. And then the girls are just supposed to be kind of like subservient, and there's a pecking order. The first one is the first wife has the most control over the other wives, and she gets first say and stuff like that. If you really go about it like the Mormon type way, but then we go into polyamory, which is like it's kind of like an open relationship from my understanding. I mean, I could be wrong. If I am, correct me. I'm not trying to be.
Like, I'm not saying you're an expert in all this, right?
I'm not trying to be derogatory or misinformative, but, like, it would mean, like, you could be in a relationship with somebody, I could be in a relationship with somebody, or 5 people, and they could be in relationships. For me, I'm not cool with that. Like, that's not, I'm a committing type person, and that's not committal for me. And I would worry, like, what are you bringing back? Plus, that sounds like a lot of drama.
Yeah. It really does, man. Like I'm with you. Like I think that there's nothing wrong with somebody saying that they don't want to be in a committed relationship. Like that's fine. Not everybody wants that, Not everybody's like cut out for that kind of thing. But I think that sometimes like there's this case of like having your cake and eating it too sort of thing where like there's, like you said, like this greed element to it, or just like it's okay for like me to do this, or just like there can be like these weird double standards or like the frictions that can pop up and just like that kind of thing. And
well, because a lot of times too, like one person's better able to get the dates than the other. Like, so let's say we decide, oh, we're going to do this, then, and one of us is probably going to have an easier time going out all the time. And, well, for me, I'm just not into socializing. So you're going to be going out and I'm going to start to get pissed. Like, why is he getting to do this? And then we'll be like, well, you can't do it if I can't do it. And, well, I'm not putting in any effort to doing it either. So, like, I'm kind of weird about that stuff. So
it seems complex to me.
It does. Well, then there goes to the swinging. Since it's not the same thing, but like I think that's more straightforward, but it's super complex too. Like there's rules involved. And I know that there's, like, clubs that you can go to do all this
like places
and stuff.
And just, like, there's protocols, right? Where it's just not this free form sort of, like, I've seen it a lot where, like, okay, we go out, but my girlfriend picks the other girl, and then she talks to him, and then brings him in, and then I'm not allowed to kiss her on the lips. It's just, like, there's this, there's, like, setups and rules and just...
And I feel like it's too easy, like we talked about with the whole door thing. Like, once the door opens... it's too, we talked about that before. Once you open a door for something, it's too easy for the person to like slam that door completely open and be like, well, you let this happen, you let me break the rule one time, and so I thought this would be okay.
Yeah.
And people's feelings get hurt. Majorly.
Yes. Yeah.
And what you think you're okay with seeing, you might not be okay with seeing.
Right, like in your head, you're like, that's not gonna bother me.
And then 2 weeks later, you're still seeing it.
You're just like, you're still super salty, and you're just like, see, that's not something I'm trying to go through. Like, I can't even in my head like rationalize like, oh no, I'd be fine with that. It's cool. Like, like there's some shit I don't ever want to see it, dude. That's one of them probably. Like, I got no desire to see somebody putting in work on my wife. It's just there's no part of me that's like, I wonder. And it sounds like I'm being an asshole, man, and talking down to people, but that's truly not my intent, man. Like, I know that some people are built different, to use a meme, right? Like,
well, I think what we go back to is if it works for that couple. Like, some people need this extra stimulation and that excitement in their relationship.
They're bored. I get you. Like,
doesn't even have to be bored, but like stimulating and like. Some people can't commit to just one person. Yeah. They can't think of, I'm never having sex with somebody else. Yeah. And that's fine. I keep hearing the noise. I'm holding our baby and she's breathing hard.
Heard something real awesome too.
All of our kids snore just like him.
I do definitely snore, man. They inherited that gene. No, yeah, you're 100% right. Where it really is on a case-by-case basis, where some people know for a fact that they could never do the monogamous thing, but they don't want to lose this other person, so they're trying to find like this middle ground. And if it works for them, like, by all means do it, you know, but I don't think that everybody's built for that, you know. I don't
think we are built for that.
I don't think I'm not. Like, I know I'm not. It's just, I got too much of a selfish gene in me. I got too much of I don't know, I guess I'm like weirdly conservative in that sense. I don't know if that's necessarily conservative, but it might be in a way. I think that I'm open-minded about a lot of stuff, but I don't know if that's something I can swing.
I think that it opens up, it goes back to, can you separate sex from feelings?
Yeah. And I think that's powerful to be able to do, man. Like, I have a major respect for people that are able to do that, like to be able to go out in those settings with their partner, like have that happen and then be able to come back like, oh, what do you want for breakfast? Like,
well, that was kind of something like our whole relationship was supposed to be based on just one-time thing. Yeah. And then feelings got involved.
Didn't work like that. It didn't work like that. Came in for the wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and then I ended up turning into the long haul, man. And yeah, like, that's just real life. That's how stuff happens sometimes. And I guess it's just, I don't think that it's as easy as some people would think that it would be, you know, because I definitely have talked to people that think that this would be something that they want, or like think that like, oh man, it can't be that complicated. I don't know how you think that this couldn't be complicated, man. Like,
I don't know how you wouldn't overthink it. Like, if you made a different noise or like
like that.
Or like if you came home and it was just me and you tried something new, I'm gonna be like, where do you learn that?
He was like, oh yeah, where'd you get that one from, huh?
Like, I think that once you open the door for us anyways, it's a no-go. But I do know, like, some people do this lifestyle for years and it works for them.
I get you. Yeah, it's going back to what we had talked about in the beginning about not knocking anybody's way of life. Like, this is no disrespect to anybody. I think it's just I guess a perspective from two squares.
I'm a rule follower. And so, like, if we made rules and you broke any of the rules, I wouldn't break any of the rules. But if you broke any of the rules, then
look at that pretty harshly. That's I'm going to be a
pissed.
Problem.
And I'm going to be like, we can't do this anymore.
Yeah, like, this is a wrap.
And I'm going to be upset, and then I'm looking at, where else are you breaking my rules at?
And to me, man, like
obviously we're vanilla.
Oh man, definitely, right? Like they're like, boo. But I think it also gets complicated too, because I know that people entering into these multiple partner scenarios are looking for different things too. Like some people are looking for like, I want multiple girlfriends and everything that entails, right? Where I want us to all go on dates, share feelings, blah, blah, blah. And then some people have the thing where like, I got my main girl and then like I do things with these other girls, but they don't get as much as you get, like that type of thing, right?
I'd be cool if I was the main girl getting all the stuff and...
They just got like these satellite girls.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm going over to her house tonight, but don't worry about it. Like, I'm just... like that type of thing. Well, I guess, would that be something that wouldn't bother you as much if you were like, you're like, I'm the main girl. Like, you can go to her house for a little while, but you gotta...
Like, I'm just joking, because even just talking about like the polygamy, and we talked about like... I just had a thought with, like, the kids are going to grow up, and then what's your role? Like, I've been supporting your ass this whole time. Now what are you doing? So now I'm...
Now what's your thing?
Like,
Right.
You're staying home, and my kids are at school.
And I still just work and just...
I'm working 40 hours a week. And
that's super true,
you might
right?
cook me dinner, but, like, I also feel like I'm contributing more.
Yeah.
Even though, like, your role is pretty important, but I'm doing more.
Yeah. No, like, that's just so complicated, man, because you're right. It's not like kids aren't static. Like, they're, as situations change, they get older, and then, like, you're the breadwinner girlfriend, and then you got at-home girlfriend.
Because we even talk about, like, one of us staying home. And it would have to be me, because I'm already at a certain level of my career, but then I'm at a certain level of my career, and I don't want to lose that either. And... because in order to continue to earn money and get to the level that I'm at, he has to work for so many years under people and blah, blah, blah.
Before you can get independent. So,
I've done that, and I've put in my time, so I don't want to start over at making the crappy money again.
And it's hard, man. It is complicated, because you want to be at home to be able to spend that quality time with your kids. But you also got to balance, like, you like being able to take them and do nice things and being able to afford nice things. You got to work, like, you can't have a roof over your head, and it is this difficult balance. And yeah, I think that having a family and raising kids,
I think we need a nanny. We need a live-in nanny.
Maybe, we don't need another girlfriend. We need, we just need an actual nanny. That's what we're looking for.
But then our qualifications are the same. We need to be able to trust you and that you're never going to leave.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we need consistency. Like that one lady in Brady Bunch. We need one of her, man. Somebody that's here for the long haul type of thing. No,
even she got married, I believe, in the show.
Just let them down, dude. Freaking let them down after all those years. So yeah, I think that it's interesting. I think that I can see how it would work for some. I can definitely see how it's not for everybody.
All of it.
Yeah, all the way around, right?
And I think if you want it to work, you got to be honest about your intentions. Like, if one day Calvin just came home to me and was like, "Hey, I kind of think, like, I kind of want to do this whole open relationship polyamory thing."
Yeah.
Okay, what's her name? Like, who
exactly. That's because we talked about, like, bringing that up, is that some people do that, like, they do it as a way of trying to, like, salvage a relationship or, like, bring life back into it. Is it like, okay, things are going south, or like, or I effed up, so instead of admitting that I cheated, how about I say, hey, have you thought about this open relationship?
Cheat. Not that I have cheated.
Like, have you thought about this open relationship thing? Because blah, blah, blah. See, you're not doing it from a place of, like, this is what I need in order to live the life that I want. You're doing it from a place of, like, I'm feeling like I saw something I like, and I'm going to step out. Those are two different things to me, you know. I think those are two majorly different things. And
what
I think
are your
that happens.
intentions, I think?
You're like, look, she had a nice butt. I want open relationship. And then you go through all that. Doesn't work out with her. I no longer want open relationship. I want girlfriend back. Because that happens too, right? Where people, like, it doesn't work out, or like they get through their phase or whatever, and then they're like, oh, you know what, baby, like, I think that we can make this work. Let's go back to just me and you. We were always good like that. And
then the next person comes along and is
actually, baby, you remember when we did that open relationship thing?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That is less than legitimate in my
like
eyes.
If I'm always wanting an open relationship and he's always like no.
Right, like that's sketchy in the first place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where like if you are in this if you're married or in like a monogamous relationship, and then all of a sudden like somebody is just like, hey, so would it be weird if like Jerry was like my husband too? Just
Did
like,
you guys notice he went for a guy and for him?
Not for me. Like, I'm just saying, like, if you were like, we were sitting down and then
wouldn't you have said Carol?
Are you gonna get a girlfriend? Like, because I'm being you in this scenario.
I was not aware of that. Like,
I'm you right now. Where you're like, wouldn't it be cool if Jerry?
Yeah, he was using a guy's voice, and now he's using the girl's voice.
I gotta. Yeah, I didn't do my typical white woman voice. Hey guys, would it be okay? That thing. No, man. That's sketchy to me, right?
That's also the voice of his mom, so it's not his typical
it's not.
white
It's
voice.
just all women voice. Y'all sound alike. Oh my goodness,
yeah, I think
man.
just being aware of intentions is huge, because if the intentions aren't right, then the person's not as likely to follow the rules that you set up.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's gonna fuck everybody up.
Yup, real good or bad. I don't know whichever one applies more fittingly. Yeah, I think that was I like where that went. I'm trying to think if I had anything else to add on that, because I'm glad that you have brought up that part about people using it to try to like sneakily like get another partner in a relationship instead of like, I hate that, man. I've seen so many people try that. Like, talk to my girl about doing the open relationship thing. Oh yeah, did you?
I've also seen it where like the person's like, hey, I wanted to talk to you about doing an open relationship, and then they go out and they do it, but they're not cool with you doing it. And then it's like, all right, we're not doing this anymore, or I can do it.
Right, like the minute you start talking to somebody else, like, you ain't had no right to do that to me.
Like, you cheated.
That's having your cake and eating it too, right? Like, to me, that's just the height of egotism, I guess, where you're just like, no, it's cool for me, but like, you can't do me like that. That's not okay. And to me, that just means like you don't need to be doing it. Either let that person go or like figure this thing out. But like, you're trying to just have everything, you know.
I think that goes back to the whole, you gotta respect. If you want to be in 15 relationships, be in 15 relationships, but you gotta be respectful to each of those 15 relationships. And for me, I don't feel like I could give 15 people or even 2 people what they need to feel sustained in this relationship.
Yeah, to fully. Well, that's it. Like, I think that, like, I see very much now, like, how difficult it is to maintain, like, a positive, like, long-term relationship. Like, how the hell are you gonna manage that with like 3, 4, 10, 15 other, like, however many people you choose? Like, it's hard enough with one. It's so hard.
And we're not saying like our relationship sucks or anything, but it's good work, because we put in the work.
Like, we're not stagnant with it. Like, there's no expectation where like, oh, I can do whatever I want, not spend any time with her, not talk to her, and everything's gonna be good. Nah, it won't. It's not gonna be good if I do that. Like, there's legitimate daily effort that comes into making sure crap doesn't fall apart. You don't do that, then
crap fall apart.
Not gonna work out for you.
And then oftentimes everybody's left pointing fingers at the other person.
Well, if you would have just done this, if you would have told me this, or well, if you would have been more blah 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 blah.
And I'm a very upfront person. If I feel like you need to do something more, I'm gonna be like, hey, can you do this? I remember with my ex, I'd be like, hey, I'm feeling really insecure today. Can you do something? Like, can you help me feel more secure in our relationship and just in life in general? And he'd be like, no, that's a you problem. It's not something, if you're feeling that way, not my fault.
That's a beautiful way to handle it right there. It's just, Oh, man.
Now, if I said that, I feel like we would sit down and we'd have a conversation about why do you feel insecure and what can I do to help you. And I've never had that insecure feeling.
Well, somebody's got the balls to actually come up with to you and tell you what they're vulnerable about. Like, that takes a lot. Like, that's a hard thing to do. The least you could do is, like, listen. You know? Like, that's not a simple thing to be like, hey, I'm not feeling great right now. This is what I need. That's hard.
And I guess I do still kind of do that. I'll message and be like, my anxiety's at 11 today. I'm just not feeling it, and blah, blah, blah.
I'm busy. Shut up.
Yeah. I would never say it again.
There you go. Lost that opportunity. You ain't helping out with that no more. I don't blame you. I wouldn't do it anymore either. If that was the response that you got, like, why the hell am I going to open up to you when, like, this is what you tell me? Nah, I don't think so, man. So, in conclusion, it's difficult.
A relationship is difficult. A successful relationship. An unsuccessful relationship, it has its own stressors. And I feel like the work that we put in for this means that we're not putting in the work to maintain the sucky part of a relationship. Because whereas those people that are don't have those stable relationships, or like they're in multiple relationships, and if none of them are stable, then they're putting in all this work to be unstable. Like, I'm
Right.
constantly worried about what he's doing on his phone, or like looking into his looking into what he's saying and his emotions, and just like, oh, he's not doing this. Literally, I don't have that much energy.
You got time for that.
But the work that I can put in is to cultivate this and not just like make it more toxic, which it seems like a lot of people put their energy into, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think it does, man. Like, put your energy into well worthwhile places, you know? Like, don't give more than other people are giving you, and you don't have to put your life force into a sinking ship, you know? Like, it's good to be aware of, like, where you're getting dividends from, you know? Like, if you're in a relationship and you have this person that's healthy and things are going well and you're feeling fulfilled by it, good, man. Maybe that's a sign that you need to be putting more into that, you know? But if you feel like you're constantly giving and providing and doing whatever else this other person asks and it's never enough, then assess it, you know?
And I think that going back to the multiple relationships, it can be like, what he's good at, I need to, or not good at, I need to be able to make up for type thing. And if there's more people to kind of make up for that. But
start to lose your, like, place, quote unquote, right? Mm-hmm. It is, man. I don't know. That sounds like too much for me, man. I don't think that I'm built for that. Well, I think that's a good place we'll call it there. I think that, I think just don't go into it naively, man. I think that a lot of people just think they're like, oh, man, I have so many girlfriends. It's amazing all the time. It's not that. Like, that's just such a, I don't know, like I already said naive, but like that's just, you're not looking at the bigger picture, you know? Like, this isn't going to be what you think it is. I don't.
Oh, that's a good point too. I'm super vengeful. And so are you. So like, if I think that
call me vengeful.
If you went out and you did your thing, I'm gonna go do it 10 times better than you just did it. And I'm a girl, and so there's so many guys that are just gonna be like, okay, like you just want to have sex.
Like, shit, all right. Like, that's easy enough, right? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say I'm vengeful. I just say I ignore people. I think that's my vengeance. It's the
oppositional.
I don't go out, like, if somebody does something, I don't have to, like, hatch a plan. I'm just like, oh, we're done.
I'm gonna fuck you over.
You know, like, I think for me, it's enough where I'm like, I'm just not talking to you anymore. Like, you can be pretty damn sure that, I think I'm just in the sense that I'm quick to cut people off too. It's just, I'm not one to give like a bunch of chances and stuff. It's probably not a good trait, but I'm definitely like that, man. So it's complex. It's not for us, but it does work for some. Mm-hmm. I like that. So, if there's any comments, if you guys, oh no, if you guys had anything
That's me
to
crying because he smacked me. No.
Oh my God! Tell them it's our baby. Don't do that.
It was our baby.
If you guys had anything
She's
to
happy
add.
with the video.
And she's like, yeah, my parents are sticking together. Any other ways to look at it? If you guys have any personal experiences or just anything like that, tell us, man. I'd be curious to know if we have anybody that listens to this that has like experience with just multiple partners and just that kind of stuff. That'd actually be really cool to hear about. So that being said, we'll let you guys go. Talk to you in the next one.